2 hours is long enough. That's it!
Hey, Bubble Buddy, you're finished.
Did you spot that? When Incidental 40 angrily opens the door, his lips vanish for a second. Here are 26 mistakes you missed in SpongeBob. First up for today is Bossy Boots from Season 2. This is a great one from the earlier seasons where Mr. Krabs has his daughter try and make the Krusty Krab hip.
Anyway, so she's gonna be working here during her summer vacation. She's got a lot of fresh ideas to bring in some hungry customers.
SpongeBob, do you realize what this means?
No new spatulas?
No, it means some bratty teenagers coming in here to tell us what to do.
Get that suit on, sailor. It's already been paid for.
Rage, fury, irritation, humiliation.
So they get these fancy new uniforms, thanks to Pearl. But there is an error with the uniform later on. The uniforms are long-sleeved, coming all the way down to the wrists. In this scene, Pearl gives SpongeBob a new menu. During the close-up shot of it, we can see SpongeBob's arms and hands, but the sleeves are gone. It's just his normal yellow skin. Try to spot the error in this next scene.
How about my cuddly executive buddy? Reduces stress for only 5 easy payments at $9.95. What? Why, Pearl is saving the Krusty Krab. I mean, the cuddly crab. What would we do without these beautiful $20 sea unicorn wall hangers?
Did you notice what happened to the sea unicorn? Well, during the close-up shot of it, it's not a unicorn anymore. When we saw it in the background, when Mr. Krabs squeezed his stress buddy, it had a horn. During the close-up shot, that horn is gone and it's just a regular seahorse. Speaking of the stress buddy, there's a mistake with it too. When Mr. Krabs is crying, it's on his desk. But when SpongeBob walks up to him, the stress buddy is no longer on the desk. It's just disappeared. So SpongeBob helps Mr. Krabs fire his daughter. And there's a mistake here with Mr. Krabs' uniform.
Hey, Mr. Krabs, I did it!
Oh, Pearly. Is that a 20? Oh, SpongeBob. How could we have done such a thing to my own flesh and blood?
The K's on all the uniforms are rounded. But during the close-up shot of Mr. Krabs, they're more angular. It isn't that big of a mistake, but it's still noticeable. Next up is Bubble Buddy. I mean, who doesn't love this episode? Watching SpongeBob being so considerate to his new friend while everyone else gets angry is hilarious.
I want you to meet my new friend, Bubble Buddy.
This Bubble is your friend?
Wait, you haven't taken Bubble Buddy's order yet.
Why would I do that?
He's hungry.
Here we go. One of everything for Bubble Buddy.
Iconic. But did you see that mistake in the last scene? When Squidward first grabs the Krabby Patty, it's got lettuce on it. But when he sets it down on the table, suddenly the lettuce is gone and it's just cheese. SpongeBob then tells Squidward that Bubble Buddy is lactose intolerant. When he does, watch the top right corner of SpongeBob.
There's cheese on these patties.
And?
Bubble Buddy's lactose intolerant. He can't eat cheese.
I don't know how that kind of error occurs, but did you see the corner of SpongeBob move when Squidward talked? The right corner of SpongeBob moves with Squidward's nose when he says "and." Like, we know he has a big nose, but it's causing errors now? Come on. When SpongeBob first introduces Bubble Buddy to Squidward, there's an error there too. Squidward is wearing his Krusty Krab hat. But when he looks into his reflection, the Krusty Krab hat vanishes. And not just from the reflection, but it isn't even on Squidward's head in this scene. There are a few errors at the beginning of the episode too. When SpongeBob goes over to Patrick's house and reads the letter he left, there are some inconsistencies between shots. When the rock first opens, is spelled with 5 H's, but during the close-up, there are only 4. That's not the only error with writing. The prices are gone from the menu, and only the items are shown on the Galley Grub sign.
It's time to end it.
No, I won't let you. Here we go! You'll never catch us now!
This one's a little hard to spot, but if you look closely at Squidward's legs at the start of the scene, he's got 5 instead of 4. I don't know how that happened, but that extra leg isn't supposed to be there. Next up is Imitation Crabs. In this episode, Plankton tries to steal the secret formula once again, but he's got a new plan.
But wherever there's a secret recipe, there is someone who wants to steal it.
Mr. Squidward,
What now, Mr. Krabs?
That's right. I am Krabs. Your boss, your ruler, your master. Why don't you take the rest of the day off?
Whatever you say, Mr. Krabs.
The errors start right at the beginning of the episode. When SpongeBob is playing with the spatula, it looks different. Usually, it's got 3 holes in it. This is what it looks like later on. But for some reason, in this scene, it's just solid metal. Keep an eye on the floor in this clip.
We discussed the secret recipe with Mr. Krabs.
As long as you do that, the secret is safe.
I always thought the most important rule was why do today what you can put off till tomorrow.
The floor is usually green, except in the one scene where Mr. Krabs is talking. Instead, it's blue. Another error happens with the background not long after this. Check out this bag on the left-hand side that says, "Keep Meal." The writing is kinda a reddish color and very faded, but when the camera zooms back in, the words are much bolder and darker. And towards the end of the episode, keep your eye on the robot Mr. Krabs.
Don't listen to him, SpongeBob. Remember, ravioli, ravioli, give me the formuoli.
SpongeBob, no! Don't listen to him! I'm the real Mr. Krabs!
Don't listen to him. He's obviously a robot.
Throughout the entire episode, the robot Mr. Krabs didn't have a white shirt under his blue one. Only the real Mr. Krabs had that. But in this one shot of them in the same frame, the robot Krabs has a white shirt for a second. You can clearly see him without it before. Next on our list is another amazing episode from Season 2 called Wormy. Let's check out some clips.
He found us!
A friend is a friend to the end of the end. That's forever and a day. Stay by your side.
Unfortunately, SpongeBob and Patrick don't know that this is still their friend. Back at the start of the episode, Sandy introduces SpongeBob and Patrick to her creatures.
He's saying hello to you. Ain't he cute?
Sorry, I don't speak Italian.
There's an error here. When the shot cuts to SpongeBob, right as he's about to speak, his eyelashes aren't there. They appear whenever he straightens his back. Sandy leaves right after this, and she's in her bikini when she walks away. But when she reaches the door, she's got her suit and helmet on. While it's possible she changed between shots, just the way she walks off camera and then back on makes it seem like she didn't stop walking. So the suit just kinda appears on her body. Later on, when SpongeBob and Patrick are running around, watch the air around them. There are bubbles, but there shouldn't be. They're in Sandy's tree dome, which has no water. The bubbles don't make sense here and are a big goof on the creator's part. We'll run through these real quick because there are a lot of them. There are so many objects that disappear in this episode, like this jar. SpongeBob drops it. Then there's a close-up of the butterfly, and when the camera cuts back, the jar on the ground is gone. Next is SpongeBob's arm in this scene. It's a little hard to see, but slowed down, his arm disappears right as they're about to run. And then we have this apple. The apple is in Patrick's mouth, and then floats to the top of his water helmet. But when the camera cuts back to him, the apple is gone too. Last are these socks and a pair of underwear. They're sitting in front of the boat in the Krusty Krab. But when the boat drives off, they're no longer on the floor. Last on our list for today is Survival of the Idiots.
Sandy? Hey, Sandy! What's with the sign?
Howdy! If y'all are watching this, that means I'm asleep for the winter. This sleep is called hibernation.
So there are some inconsistencies here. We know the sea creatures don't do well in Sandy's tree dome without water. They can survive while it's snowing because snow is water, but when spring arrives, they should be drying up. But they're walking around perfectly fine without water or snow. When Sandy falls back into bed, she doesn't have a blanket on her, but in the next shot, she does. This episode has got a lot of weird little mistakes like that. In this scene, there's a plank of wood on the ground right behind SpongeBob. But when the camera cuts away from him and then back, the plank is gone. Right after that, this happens.
Hi, SpongeBob.
Not only are Patrick's teeth sharp out of nowhere, but SpongeBob's feet are gone. That's a crazy mistake. We have even more inconsistencies here. SpongeBob has ice on his head, but when he moves over to the tree, the ice is gone. When he goes back to Patrick, the ice is back. For this next mistake, listen and watch Sandy in the background.
Oh, look! It's SpongeBob and Patrick!
As Sandy speaks, her body moves, but her mouth isn't moving at all. And at the very end of the episode, there's a really bad one. When the scene fades from SpongeBob and Patrick to the glasses on the table, everything transitions except the glasses. They don't fade in. Instead, they just pop up on the screen while everything else fades properly. Well, that's all for today. If you enjoyed it, be sure to subscribe. Then click the video on screen to watch our newest video. See you there!